Howdy, folks. I'm Max Caveman, and welcome to what is going to be the groundworks for my Victory Road. My TCG Victory Road for 2025. This is basically just going to be the next continuation of my journey to the World Championships, just with a nice smaller title. Basically, in this video, I'm just going to lay the groundworks that have been announced, I believe, 2 hours ago at this point. Pokemon put up the official 2025 World Guidelines. So just, I believe, basically just like some of the changes that have happened to the circuit and all that sort of stuff. I do have some notes that I have taken care of, and looking at this, I am annoyed, to say the least. It looks like Pokemon doesn't, well, the team behind the World Championships doesn't want players going to Worlds next year. That's the big takeaway that I am getting. And what do I mean by that? Well, the big change for the 2025 season, as it looks like right now, um, hopefully some of these numbers change. But instead of doing certain thresholds to reach in order to get a Worlds invite, they're instead doing just basically a top X for each region gets to go to Worlds. And looking at the numbers that I've got written down right here, which I've just copied straight from the website, it looks atrocious. So, for context, the Pokemon 2024 World Championships has about 2,500 players with an invite. That's not to say everyone will attend. So you're looking at maybe 2,000 players, maybe a bit more, attending the 2024 World Championships. Now, this is just the 5 major points. So this is US and Canada, Europe, Latin America, Oceania, and the Middle East and South Africa. Just those regions alone, we're looking at 860 participants getting an invite to the 2025 World Championships. So that means there's going to be, hopefully, there are some other regions getting added into that, so like Japan and other Asian countries that aren't normally listed because they have different style events than the rest of us. So you're probably looking at about 1,000 players next year at Worlds, and it's kind of meh. For those that haven't actually seen the full breakdown, so it has it that US, Canada, and Europe, so US and Canada combined, and then Europe for their masters, they have 125. The top 125 get an invite. For seniors, it's 100, and then juniors have 75. So that's actually most of the participants right there. There are 600 players just from US, Canada, and Europe alone, which is a lot, but still, it's a lot less. What happened to my numbers? So North America and Europe each got 600, about 600 players for the 2024 season. So that's half the number um, that got the invite this year that will be getting it next year as it stands. Hopefully, some of these numbers do change because it's not looking good. Then Latin America, for Masters, there's 100, and then juniors and seniors both have 50. So that's 200 Latin America players compared to 500. Okay, there were 300 Masters um, previously, so that's a steep cutoff. Now we also have the Middle East and South Africa. I don't actually have the listings from the 2024 season, but there will be 10 Masters, 5 seniors, 5 juniors for 40 players all up. That is insanely low. Um, yeah, I would hate to be there to be a large group of people in those regions that just like one person can't go just because like in a group of 11 that would be so devastating. But the main area that I'm focusing on is Oceania, seeing as I am an Oceania player, and juniors and seniors both have 10 players each. That is so bad. Just because the way a lot of like looking at the leaderboards, um, we do have a couple of juniors at my local store, and their parents would look at the leaderboards and go, these people already have their best finish limits in challenges and cups because certain states or certain areas in Australia have more events than others. So those people get it, and then it's like, we have no chance over here. But the big um, number that I was looking at is the number of masters attending Worlds 2025 for Oceania is 20. Now, in the 2024 season, I placed 219th overall. So I have a lot of improving to do to get this. But that is not all the changes. Now, I feel like this change affects players like myself that don't have many regionals that they can go to. Um, like US and Europe, like US, Canada, and Europe, they tend to have more regionals that are easier to get to. Um, for the 2024 season, I only had 3 regionals in my part of the world, and I only attended one of those simply because things didn't line up. But this, because of that, we have this is going to affect a lot of people dramatically, and that is the best finish limits. Now, this refers to cups and challenges primarily. It does affect regionals. Regionals stays the same actually, but the best finish limits for cups and challenges drops from 6 to 4. So right off the bat, a lot more people are going to hit best finish limits now. Um, a lot of players basically hit best finish limits. They were just needing a first or a second, and so they weren't coming to events all the time in Perth. So that was a big thing that it just really surprised me. Just seeing like, okay, we have less chances to get points. But that's what I thought at first. I did read a bit further. Um, with the best finish limit being lowered, a plus size is the kickers. Now, the kicker is the threshold of players in an age bracket to get certain placements. So, most notably for Perth, we had the issue of top 21 players. So 21 players was best finish of top 8 points. Now it is 17 players. I believe that's right. 17 masters. I hope I'm right on that. It doesn't feel right saying it, but that's the way it always went, I believe. Now you've got kickers at 4, 8, 17, 33, 65, and 129. Those are the ones that matter. Well, I think that's all. These apply for challenges. The 129 only really applies to cups. So those number of players, it means that up to top 64 could get points at a cup. Most stores that I know of will only possibly get top 16 points max with 33 masters. And yeah, that's a big change to just sort of the structure of, well, the season, I guess. Now, Pokemon have announced a few regionals, and they've announced the international championships. There was one big thing missing from the international list that I saw, and that was no OCIC, or the Oceania International Championships. This is slightly annoying, just because we don't get many big events in Oceania, mainly Australia, but yeah, Oceania doesn't really get many of these big events, and all of the regionals that have been announced are like, I think there's a couple of Latin America, but I saw a lot of US and Europe. So even right now, there are no Oceania regionals. Now it did look like the um, regional calendar was only until the end of the calendar year, the 2024 calendar year. So that hopefully we do get some in 2025 calendar year. But I didn't get a date of it. The dates for the 2025 season. Now I feel like I'm saying the years too much. So it is a July to May. I believe it was May. For the season. So that means all of June off again, which isn't too bad. They did specify that there is the exemption of NAIC going outside of the regular season. So basically, we have not even a year to get as many points as we can to try and place in whatever threshold applies to you in your region. Will I get an invite this season? Hell no. Right off the bat, I cannot attend. Well, actually, I could attend enough events getting a best finish limit in cups and challenges with only 6 could theoretically be feasible. It's the regionals that is going to be the killer. Um, a lot of the um, high level Oceania players do travel to the all the travel overseas for a lot of the events. So my chances with only 20 master slots is extremely low. But that's not to say I won't try. Um, Hopefully, they do increase the number of players overall that can attend Worlds, because I think there will be a little bit of backlash about the lack of participants, and just seeing how difficult it will be. But I think that's enough of the enough information about the changes to the season. Um, what about the changes to the series? Um, Now, I want to change a big thing about the series, and that is change it from monthly to per event. This is an easy change that I probably should have done for the 2024 series, but I feel like it is just a lot easier to just start from scratch and go this entire season. It means that I will have a better recollection of what happened at events instead of having to try and think back at whatever it was almost a month ago, maybe even longer by the time I actually recorded. But so there'll be a lot more videos discussing events, and I will try and keep deck lists in the description of the videos so you can look at the deck that I actually used for an event, rather than me just go, oh yeah, I played X deck, and then not actually showing you the exact list that I played, because that does change things. But with that, I think that's everything that I needed to say. I keep looking at my information I wrote down. I've gone over it. One thing that was interesting that I didn't mention about regionals, well, as well, I believe they have tried streamlining the regional experience, so that it's a bit, what was it? I think they described it as less um, less play fatigue for players. Um, Basically capping it at certain rounds for the day, and then like day twos are going to be actually quite short potentially, but they've reworked how they're doing the regionals, and it does look like the regional payout decreased for first place from like 10,000 to 7,000. I thought it was 10,000 for a regional, but yeah, it's listed as 7,000 now for regionals. I think most of the things just like got shifted down a tier, so that's a big thing. But then I think the ICs stay the same, so it's a little things here and there that I kind of wouldn't need to read over the post a bit more to see any of the final details. But that being said, that's going to be it for now. We do have the challenges getting dates put up. I do believe I have most of the challenges written out with dates and where they are. So I believe we have in just about a week and a half, we have our first TCG challenge in Perth, West Australia. So that's looking interesting. Yeah, and we've already got our first cup announced, so that's going to be a big thing indeed. So hopefully you enjoyed, understand, and are excited for this season. Hopefully, if you are a player, you enjoy the season. Hopefully, you do well. And I'll see you all next time. See ya.